To go. I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Nigeria Decides on Heritage TV UK. Tonight, we are going to present to you one of the 2019 coming election presidential aspirant. Is a well-known face, but maybe by the time you join us and continue to watch the program, you're going to find out more about him. Tonight I've set out to be not rubbing minds, but asking him very critical questions to his candidacy, and also to the election, and also what he's going to offer Nigerians. With me on this panel is eminent journalists, people who are well known in their area of profession, especially in journalism or different broadcasters also. On the far right is someone who I know very well, Mr. Iheanacho.
That's right, thank you.
Welcome to this program.
It's nice to be here.
And another person who we've been holding this program many times now, Jerry.
Good evening.
And of course, the man
Himself.
of the moment, the man who will be asking questions, who will be talking with him. I also want to say we'll be grilling him. Not that shouldn't be seen as a negative thing. Alistair Chiode.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome to this program.
Thank you.
Now, you are invited to come and meet the press, also to meet the people, especially most of our viewers. And because this program is going to be shared on the Periscope, on WhatsApp, on YouTube, Facebook, and so on and so forth, all the media outlets. So as it is, there are going to be so many people watching you now, or they're going to see you later. So get ready. Now, we want to start by asking you this. You want to run for presidency in Nigeria. Now, why do you want to run?
Oh, thank you very much. Good evening, ladies. That is not ladies.
There's no ladies here.
Members of the panel, the viewers out there. It's a brilliant day today, number one, June 12th. It happens to be now an official Democracy Day in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A lot of views and opinion are being shared all globally, but most especially in Nigeria as well. Why? The number one answer would be Nigeria need a direction. Nigeria, being the number one economy on the African continent, need that economy to be strengthened. The global community are talking about new direction in terms of innovation, creativity, and technology, which is the way forward in the advanced world. Nigeria shouldn't be left behind. But again, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with when you begin. So I'm so glad that indeed I'm making that process of in this journey in my own life to say this is the direction. But again, for the last 20 years or for more than almost 2 decades, everything I've been doing is towards gearing to uplift my country, Nigeria, to strengthen democracy, to direct investment into the country, to rebrand the image and the name Nigeria when people completely gave up on that name, gave up on that nation. And my background in media was not because I was in media or because I read media. It's because I just really want to reduce the negative perception shown to Nigerians around the world, more so in this place. But technically and physically, we all know the challenges that's happening in Nigeria. And I believe without any doubt, as we begin to recommend people who should be there, likewise the fingers are pointing in my direction, that likewise are qualified because I have done it with limited resources, coming into a foreign land, into the Western world, setting up the first black TV station without knowledge, without background, without experience. If I can come and do something of this nature, while at the same time sharing my knowledge, my skill with my leaders in my country. And right now that my people are saying there is a demand for younger generation to join politics, I have answered that call. So from my own perspective, I've done the first part, which means I've answered and I declared officially in Nigeria that I'm joining the race. And then now basically I look forward to being elected. I look forward to first of all, my name, I have to come out with a party, and then my name must be on the ballot paper before the election. And I hope the Nigerian people will see in me genuinity, they will see in me good leadership, and they will see in me that I can definitely bridge that divide that we're experiencing in the country as of this minute.
Thank you. Jerry?
Like you've said, you have come to this country, you have picked up the mantle of setting up something without experiencing it, and you have become very successful in what you're doing. Why would you want to put yourself through that gruesome thing of wanting to be elected into a political office in Nigeria, which everybody knows is a thankless job? Why have you decided to do that when you can just sit back and enjoy the largesse of the things you have acquired and done here?
Well, I would definitely confirm that I do not have that largesse, or I'm not economically or financially somebody who lives on the wealth, receive on the wealth, gain on the wealth accumulated. As I said, Nigeria for me is the only thing I breathe, I eat and drink. So if we all sat down aside and said, well, Nigeria is facing hardship right now, and then we're trying to point our fingers at the leaders and say, well, these guys are driving us into the pain, into the ground, then if we don't join, who then is going to join? If we all decide that we just criticize them, then they can only teach Nigeria, they can only direct Nigeria in the way that they know how to, in the way that the previous leaders allowed them to. Now, for us who are in the modern day, or who follow the Western world, or in terms of, let me say, a good leadership, good governance, we know that that's not the way to rule. We know that that's not the way to lead. We know that that's not the way to unite a nation. So, for me, as I said, it's taking that momentum, that first steps, is saying, well, really, instead of just continuing blaming them, I need to join the race, or I need to join and become a powerful opposition bloc that will now begin to tell them that is not the way that you need to lead. That's not the way you need to be our managers. That's not the way to handle our resources. This is the way to handle our resources. And by our lifestyle and the way we present ourselves, hopefully they can begin to say, actually, it is true. There are options. But if people have no clue and they don't know the option, then there's no way you can blame them. Even if they broke the rule, they're not following rule of law in the country. That is the way they have seen it for the last 10 years, for the last 20 years, for the last 30 years, anyhow you want to describe it.
Iheanacho?
Thank you. Can I thank you and also praise you for your courage, because at the end of the day it takes courage to say I'm going for this sort of position, and I would take it that you want to go and give service. Now, I come from the school of thought that there is only one resource in the world. That resources is human beings, yes, nothing else. Now, my biggest question will be, how would you ensure that these resources, being human beings, every child born, because every child comes with unique talent. No two children are the same. Unique talent, and these talents are hidden. Nobody sees. Even the child doesn't know. So the child craves for an enabling environment where that can draw out this talent. How would you ensure that you know, this main resource of every community, every nation, every continent? How would you ensure that you bring these resources to the fore, and you focus on this resource, because that is the only resource known to man Forget about all the things that we see, call it natural resources. These are secondary. The real resources in life is the human resources, human capital, because without that, there is no resources. So how are you going to ensure that you bring these resources to the fore?
Well, you know, just a couple of months ago, the founder of Microsoft, Bill Gates, mentioned to Nigerians in Nigeria that, in the line of what you're saying, that our biggest asset is our human capital, the people we have in that country. There is no doubt that, bearing in mind where we are as a nation, and we're talking about almost 10 million youth out of primary school, out of school in the country, they are following one line. And I have started explaining to people that, okay, I do mentoring. Over the last 7 years, I have been mentoring people from the villages to the cities in the country, going out there as well and sharing my own story. My story basically is coming from Nigeria. My story is coming from a village in Nigeria, and then coming into here, probably to go into the football and film industry and become a player and stuff like that. And then one thing leads to another, maybe the weather, maybe not breaking through in the first team, and then before you know, then you have to now say, wait a minute, actually I need to survive. And the people you're staying with are telling you, go and work, because this is not a free this is not free living. You must earn a living. And then you begin to say, oh, that's true. Actually, there's a limit to how long you can accommodate people in this country. So now you have to be on your own. You have to now find your own lifestyle. And from there, basically, then the entrepreneurship of my DNA, because I believe that Nigerians have this tenacity of trying to achieve something in life, started expanding. And then I start looking at, what do I need to do? And that is what led up to the point that I'm saying, oh, actually, everybody's just attacking black people, not just Nigerian, black people. When somebody commit a crime, they say he's Nigerian. If something happened, so long you're black, he's Nigerian. And even then, the black people used to use the idea as well that they're Nigerians. But going to that point is, for our younger generation, for our human capital that we have to look at the opportunities that the country has. There is no doubt that we have the natural resources, but the natural resources can only be identified by human beings. So we now have technically and physically more than 10 million youth out of school. The first question is, what are we going to do to put them in school? Now, because I grew up in the north as well, born in the northern part of the country, and I began to look and say, well, people say Al-Majiri are illiterate. I want to totally disagree that they are not illiterate. If you can read French, does that make you illiterate?
Certainly not.
No. They can read Arabic. They can write in Arabic. So they are not illiterate. And for you and I who can't speak Arabic, when you go to the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, does that mean because we can't speak, listen, understood, does that mean that we're illiterate? The answer is no. They can read and write in Arabic. So we need to have a different understanding of what is it really that is happening. But nevertheless, they have been marginalized. And I want people who call people and say Al-Majiri, Al-Majiri. So well, you are Al-Majiri to Nigerians technically mean a beggar. So does that mean, now if we're now using the phrase in calling somebody a beggar, does that mean we are all beggars then? Because we too and follow the leaders and looking for the deal, the contract, the proposal to get something back. So we are beggars as well. But at the lower level, for the so-called Al-Majiri, for all this youth, do you want to continue to be a beggar? Do you want to continue to be called Al-Majiri? For me, really, even the Al-Majiri primary school shouldn't be called Al-Majiri primary school, because you're already saying, say, I know a lot of Nigerians.
School of beggars.
I know a lot of Nigerians who don't want to be identified as Nigerians just because of what they feel and describe Nigeria to be. So now you're putting them in a primary school. I would first of all send them from Al-Majiri to something better, so that at least from day one, you motivate and ginger something new in their life, rather than when you finish. And one people who go to Oxford, before you ask them which university, you know, I'm from, I attend Oxford University. Why? Because there is a power in that brand. So it's to look at what we have on the ground, begin to even show from your own lifestyle that this is where I come from and this is what I end up becoming in life. So we need to identify, and we should go into that mentorship. We should go into skill acquisition to strengthen the resources we have as a nation. And as I said, by your lifestyle, by the way you have been and the profile of where you're coming from, it will encourage other people to toe the line as well and follow you in your dream and aspiration. And there must be sincerity in terms of the leadership, which is again one thing that I believe that our candidacy is bringing on the table. Sincerity of purpose. This is what we have done. Anybody can accuse us, can accuse me of saying I'm too Nigerian, but in true sense, I am a Nigerian without any apology. I'm a Nigerian who wants to see Nigeria succeed. And I know that when you talk about the natural resources, we have it. When you talk about human resources, we have. We just need to marry the two now and then go to the table as a strong nation.
Yeah, thank you. There's a follow-up to that question. In everything we do, there is always either a parameter, a yardstick, a formula. How do you, what is the formula you want to use to achieve? Because what Iheanacho is saying is, now you agree with us that the biggest commodity, the biggest resources we have is human being. But you and I know very well, in a country like Nigeria, let's stick with Nigeria, is where the president will give order. And what happened? Some of his agents or institutions or subordinates will not follow up. So if you say, okay, you want to change the structure of Almanjari, or you want to put more money into business of education in Ilorin or somewhere where you think there are deficit, there are shortfalls, what formula do you want to put in place to make sure that this human capital we're talking about in the 774 local governments get their rights? No question, no ethnicity, no religion, no form of because I know him, that's why I'm not doing it, and because you appointed me because of relationship. What formula? We're looking for an answer here. What formula you want to put in place to make sure everything go clockwise and everybody get right?
As I say, the sincerity of the leaders definitely. Sometimes I look at this and say, being a Nigerian is the easiest thing that anybody can really hope for in life, because we go through a lot of challenges and we still smile. Yeah, so it's easy. But then,
are you sure that is not psychotic?
It may be to some. Okay. Yeah, because in life you have two options. I want to believe. That's why we have a female and a male. That's why we have things that attract and repel, and that's why we have light and day. You understand? So, but looking at the bigger picture is saying, I have a reason, I have a purpose. I'm not going to be somebody who's sitting in the office waiting for somebody to bring things onto the table. In today's world, we're moving into artificial intelligence. We're going beyond ordinary thing as of today. You can have a partner that you can just program somebody and say, this is my partner, which is not human being. And they give you almost everything that they say a human being can give you, apart from maybe giving birth. But in today's day, we're talking about technology. So I have access to technology. I'm a technology-driven person. So you're not going to come in and tell me stories, because I'm following the world, what's happening in the world, I'm following.
So when you give instruction, you think,
and the fact of the matter is, because I know who you are, I know the three of you, at least as of now, I know who you are. You would definitely have follow me to know what my profile is, my characters. So somebody's not telling you, you have Googled it, you have searched it. And because of who I am, you have been following me for the last maybe 10 years. So I'm not telling you stories. So I would definitely be able to identify talent. I'll be able to identify people who can deliver the agenda that Nigerians want. And on you and on them, they know that definitely what AS is putting on your table, you better do it. Because I don't have friends. I have people I know. So I'm coming with less baggage. I know hundreds, thousands of people, but they will not tell you that I go raving with them. For a reason, we can meet and do the thing. So I have less people that would disturb my focus to direct Nigeria, either at the local, state, national, and international community. I know how to do deals in the international community. So I'm not even afraid of any nation to say I'm coming with a begging ball. But going back home is saying, this is what we want to achieve. Guys, I'm picking this, I'm picking that, and I can justify it by collective responsibility and profiling for the Nigerian people to agree. Does this man really qualify? Does this lady really qualify? And most importantly, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria tells me what I need to do as the leader, as the president, and that will be followed to the fullest until I'm in.
Jerry.
What I want to know is this. The biggest obstacle that Nigeria has at this point in time is the generation of power. We've had an administration that's thrown about 16 billion into wanting to solve this problem, and that problem has yet to be solved. Without electricity, everything in the nation practically dies. Industries will move whatever they have straight onto the customer, and if I wave my wand and you're sitting in Aso Rock right now, what would you do to ensure that Nigerians have 24/7 electricity?
You know, I was actually thinking of something of that nature, saying, okay, let's ban all the generator in the villa.
Okay.
So that we feel the same thing that the Nigerian people do go through. But the fact is, I already know what the Nigerian people go through without generators, without energy, without power. Our GDP is about $450 billion per annum. We're generating just about 5,000 to 6,000. Now, if you double that, our GDP automatically will definitely increase. Industries will work more. Jobs will be created. There will be opportunity for new employment in the system in the country, just because you have more energy, more power, more electricity. Now, the question is, other international communities or other nations are building this thing. But one thing actually I want to add on to this way is, for me, I'm already speaking to companies that I feel are building nation, and to find out why is it not happening. And the simple reason why is, you allocate something, and half of what you allocated has already been shared by people who have nothing to do with that project. So in essence, before the contractor receives his approval, a certain percentage of that deal has been allocated somewhere. And that's why on a yearly basis, when it is not achieved, you can go back to the contractor and say, what happened? Because half of it, by those who were supposed to oversee the project, has already been taken. How do people end up telling you that we have not been paid? And they always collecting peanut as a member of the National Assembly or state, yet they're able to donate 100 of motorbikes, 100 of cars to their constituency. With what? So you have to go back and try to eliminate all these loopholes whereby tendering has to be open. It has to have an open tendering.
Okay.
Yeah? With that as well, you regularize everything, open it. We use the internet. Almost everybody now use the internet. Everything is data
but you
oriented.
need power to use the internet.
Even if but the fact of the matter is, the power that we have now is already able to do something in our country. Let's be realistic.
Are you going to ban the importation of generators and plants?
You know what? If it comes to that shaft, we will ban it. Here's a fact. Apart from just talking about banning, you're polluting the environment.
Okay.
Other nations, how many generators do you come across in this country?
None whatsoever, actually.
Right? So maybe you might see them actually at event outside.
Yes,
just
once in a
for
blue
once in a
moon,
blue
yes.
In fact, they are
But then
highly
we are-
regulated
we
also.
are
Yes.
killing- There are more people being killed by
By generator
pollution
fumes.
and generator fumes in the country. So the big guys, you just have to say, right, enough is enough, right? And these generators as well, they consume the other fuel that is supposed to go to other place in the country. So we have to look at it and show sincerity of purpose. So I'm not one that will just sit down and give instruction. No, actually, I will even ban wearing babariga, agbada. Why? Because
It slows you
for
down.
me, it's a time
It slows you
wasting.
down.
You're wasting time because you're going to do this, you're going to do that.
Yeah, but that is controversial.
Yeah,
It
that-
is controversial, but if the choice is,
we don't want to take you through this now, Iheanacho, because that will be another discussion for another day.
Yes. You know, my view in life, okay, is driven from the agenda of humanity. And if you're not talking to me about humanity, I don't know what else you want to tell me. Now, you see, I come from the school of thought that the only way we can activate every individual, every community, and every part of that geographical location is through federalism. Okay, that means yes, a federation, but where states are autonomous. Okay? You harness and produce the much you can produce and bring whatever percentage to the. I want to know your views on true federalism. Is that part of your agenda?
We have 774 local government in the country. We have a lot of resources per local government, per location. I want to believe in the on the thought that's I as Alistair, I as Ali Shoyali. To say, as every local government, as every environment, as every community produces something, we create a central market, a central unit that will really look at everything that is being produced. You want to buy, you want to sell, and there are always buyers. Collectively together.
Don't we have that already in Nigerian standard?
We do. We do.
organization?
You need to strengthen that. Yeah, you need to strengthen that for the. You see, what I'm saying actually is when you look at the leaders, every state has a governor, every minister responsible for a portfolio for a ministry. But not running away from that is every local government should produce whatever it is they're able to produce. Let's agree the percentage is put back to the center. You control and send the percentage to the center. So yes, every local, every community should control the resources because we're talking, this is a nation. It's supposed to be a country. Okay? We don't need to control it. In fact, you can call it as franchise. Pay the commission back to the franchisee, which is then the federal government, the center. Keep the rest. But of course, everything must be accountable. So even from that local government now that way, at least we have a bill that has been passed directly to the local, let everybody account for it. And let the people, the ordinary Nigerians, demand for accountability. And then when the rule of law become effective, strengthened, no corners, people know that when you run away with 10,000 naira, the rule of law will catch you immediately. There's no long English. No long Hausa, no long.
There are 3 words.
Just break it, and the law will come hard on you. I don't know you.
How are you going to do that? Because Nigeria, regardless of whichever way you look at it, we are very, very lawless. The rules are there, the laws are there, but the people who are supposed to actually, become the custodians of the law are busy breaking the law. That is one. The second one is there's too much money in Nigerian politics. Obscene amount of money. What are you going to do about that if you become the president?
We used to say body language is very important. And in the previous government, you expected them to do something based on their body language. And then suddenly you begin to say, oh, actually, they're not doing what they say. In this administration, you expected quite a lot of things. Likewise, you're now beginning to say, oh, their body language is not delivering the message to the people. Body language, action is very important. As I said, what you see in me is what anybody can testify that they know of me. So I'm totally different. I'm not motivated by money, but I don't want to be in debt. I don't want to beg. I want to do what I can. Not because you're going to pat my back and say, no, I have passed that stage. I know what it is. I'm a media person as well. I'm an agriculturist person. But the reality of the matter is, that rule of law, the moment you enter the office and people know that this guy, 100%, the oath taken on that day, just know that don't break any law in Nigeria. That is a fact. Yeah, that is the message now to every Nigerian. There will not be any corners, no short corner. I'm just sorry, because the fact of the matter is, we're talking about Nigerians that they are lawless. No. Maybe the guys who are there, who's supposed to guide us to follow the law, are not following the law. So, of course, if you don't follow the law and then you expect me to follow the law, then that's really cheating. You're not treating me as equal. Yeah, everybody will be treated equally in our government. Every Nigerian.
Yes.
There is nobody that would be above the law. Not even I, not even us. Nobody will be above the law. You will follow it to the fullest. At the end of the day, I can say so, but if I'm not there, that's a different story.
Yes.
But that's my assurance. At least I'm giving you my assurance that that is what is going to happen.
Okay.
Yes.
The second thing that
Yes.
you about the money, the truth of the matter is, that's why we're sitting here. For us, for example, I don't have that money to go and inject. And from day one, people are saying, oh, AS, you're going to drop money. And I'm saying, honestly, you got the wrong guy. And if you know me from long, that you know that I'm the wrong guy. I don't have money to give anybody. I don't have money to buy any vote. Then you may say, oh, you won't get anywhere. But the fact of the matter is, in my heart, in my mind, in my delivery, I know that I told you I will not buy your vote. I will not give you money, because I don't believe that is what leadership is about. I am the one to show you that this is the direction of I believe leadership is all about. This is the way I have been teaching other people to run their business. This is the way I've been advising other people in government. So I'm not going to be a breaker of the principle of what I am standing for and the principle of the way I have been doing. It's up to you to agree that yes, AS, we're going to support you because we know who you are, and we're supporting you because we believe that actually you can create that change.
You have that integrity.
That's it.
Fantastic. I wanted to do a follow-up on rule of law, because most of my engagements in media have been known to be father of rule of law, because it's the key to any good governance. There's no alternative to it.
No alternative.
So for me, I want to hear more
About
rule of law. You've make a vow, a caveat that you're going to be a man of rule of law, but that is not good enough. There's some certain area that rule of law will reach out like a beer to other people who even don't drink it. I'm looking at institutions. What is your take on all the institutions? Because without the institutions threatened, there was no rule of law.
Absolutely.
As we speak, the problem we have now is there's no, as like Jerry said, there's no type of rule of law that is not in our constitution, and we all know it. For me, the question now is, the institutions, you might not be able to finish listing all the institutions I'm talking about. How are you going to get the institutions do their job? Are you going to also make yourself a caveat that you are not going to be above rule of law? You said
I will not be above the law.
The institutions, let's start with the police. What are you going to do about the institutions? Because those are the carrier.
because it can't be everywhere.
Yes.
I look at it. A football team has 11 players. The manager only stand aside and put his best 11 out to play the game. I want to look at Nigeria and say, well, it is a nation, it's a country, and I need to find the best people that would deliver this country from the challenges, from the hardship that we're facing. I want to find the best guys, man, woman, young, youth, or whoever, that have the capacity to deliver what is needed in that country. I'm a talent, so I will be able to identify talents when you put them in front of me. You're not going to tell me stories, because I know how to identify if the stories are genuine, correct. I have been in government. The difference is I've never been elected in government. But anybody that is somebody in government in Nigeria, by God's grace, I know who they are. I have sat down with them. We have had a conversation. I know what they do. And I know what I think I can do if I'm in that position, by God's grace. But the fact of the matter is, as I said, I have been a front runner, and I will continue to be a front runner. But the rule of law, without any doubt, is very, very important.
And institutions?
That's why I'm talking about the body language,
Yes.
where you're coming from, genuineness of what you do, and your story, where you're coming from. The police.
Yes.
The police definitely, they are there to protect everybody. Point number one, police will be withdrawn from any VIP.
Okay.
If you're a VIP, that means you have money. You go and hire from the private security firms. You just want somebody to protect you. You just want somebody to go out with. Follow the private security firm. If you're a threat that somebody is trying to eliminate you, then maybe the police, like we see in an advanced nation, may come into it. But every policeman will be withdrawn and protect the people that they are recruited to protect. That's number one. A total reform needs to take place and strengthen. Sometimes I look into Nigeria and say, wow, we're talking about maybe about on Lagos Expressway. How many miles, how many kilometers that distance? About less than 70 kilometers actually, maybe 50 kilometers.
Yeah, less than 70, yeah.
Right? How many policemen about really want to secure all this high road? Less than 200, or less than 100 policemen would be positioned on that road.
But realistically, why do we have to have policemen on the roads protecting Nigerians? Because we are here. You can travel all over this country, and you hardly will see any policeman or any
You might see patrol, but
That's correct.
The patrol is because they want to check your speed. Apart from that, you can travel anytime.
So you see, that is what I'm.
So
now
you're going to
talking
strengthen
about
the
when
institution
you're
of the
talking
police.
about the body language and the type of leadership that the person is bringing on board.
Right.
Yeah. But one thing I know, as a governor of a state, you have the
Freedom.
final say.
Yeah,
As the president of the nation, you have a final say
on the federal.
on the federal level.
Okay. Right. Because of time, we'll not be able to take all the institutions because there's long list of them: custom, immigration, and our
Army,
borders, the
Air
army,
Force.
air force, and so on. But at least I have a clue. We have a rough idea of what you are going to do.
Thank you. In fact, okay, well, let me tie these two questions. You see, my own analysis, which is absolutely correct, not to be contested, is that Nigeria is still under lock and key, as many of the African countries. I don't believe that the army in Nigeria are psychologically equipped to protect Nigeria. I see them as foreign army, because if you check the history and you check everything, Nigerian army has never fought any war to protect anybody. They are trained to maltreat the people they're supposed to be protecting. That's why you see them, they will flog march them, they would do anything, including kill them,
yes.
okay? And the way they charge at the people will tell you these people are not actually, they are psychologically damaged. Now, I'm happy to help because it's about mindset. We need to readjust the mindset of the people in that geographical location. It's set up to malfunction, the place, and we need to capture this very quick. I need a president that will help in educating not just the people at home, but the so-called
The defenders.
the so-called superior people outside, because don't even misunderstand that Nigeria is still a colony. Okay, it's just sovereign by name. We need to disabuse our minds in all these areas. I want a president who is able to educate not only people inside, but say, look, this is an engine with every part that has to do its work. We don't want any part locked down. We want every part to be able to yield that which is necessary for the engine to function properly. I don't want a president that is afraid or intimidated by any other leader or somebody who wants to go there so they want an opportunity to go and mix. I want somebody who is bringing something fresh, something brand new, because until we identify our differences and yield it, we will be surplus to requirement. We can't be a mini Britain. We can't be a mini any nation. We have to be what we're supposed to be so we can contribute that. So I really need to know how we're going to do something about this change in mindset, because it's critical. And can I just give the last question so that, because
Yes,
you
quick,
say you're
quick.
about rounding off.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at this issue of, because I keep asking you this question, and I know why I'm still hammering on it. Are you going to ensure that your medical treatment, because if you love yourself, you want the best hospital in-house, because illnesses don't write letters to you and say, get your passport and go. Are you going to love yourself that much and love your
Medicare.
people to make sure that whatever you provide to the people is what you take?
So it's your Medicare.
Well, definitely, there is no doubt Nigeria has the best brain in terms of health workers around the world. We have in this country and many other countries in the world. My undertaking is basically with good resources on the ground, good leadership, good governance, our best brain in the health sector will definitely come home. Now, I know some who have already gone back home building clinics and hospitals. Without any doubt, Nigeria will have the best hospital. And let's actually look at it as well. We have a lot of projects in Nigeria that are related in that field. Some of the hospitals that have been built are supposedly supposed to be the top best hospital in the country across West Africa, and some actually in Africa, based on equipment listed, based on capacity put there, and the resources that they put together to build those hospitals. We will basically first and foremost take a full data information of what is on the ground and rebuild them immediately within months. Let them function. I was watching somebody a video recently that somebody commissioned a hospital, and then they're saying up to now the hospital has not functioned, and it was commissioned empty.
You don't
and
have
this
syringe.
is 2 years after, right? So that will not happen. The difference here is you are getting a person that is ready to go to every corner in the country to check and make sure that the right people are encouraged, motivated, and empowered to deliver the services that they promised to the people of Nigeria. And at the end of the day, because you took on oath and you are paid for the service and the service is not provided, that rule of law will immediately be brought onto the in your front, and you must face the consequences of cheating or not delivering what you promised and the government paid for without any delay, because you will not be. Nobody is going to sacrifice you, and neither can you sacrifice the people of Nigeria who have no strength, who have no opportunity to be in your position.
So you say you would never take medical treatment from abroad?
Why should I? So long we have the treatment in Nigeria, I would definitely sit in my country and enjoy the best of my country.
Okay.
Yeah, Jerry.
You talked about us having some of the best hospitals in Nigeria, which is subjective. I will not go into that. What I'll go into is this. From, I think, 1999 to 2011, Nigeria was producing 2.2 million barrels of oil a day, selling at an average price of $150 per barrel. Now, in that number of years, that's a huge number. That's an obscene, gigantic amount of money that's been squandered. Now, when you travel through Nigeria, because I had the opportunity of traveling from Jos to Makurdi, Abuja, all the way down to Lagos by road. And the level of development I saw vis-a-vis some other states is sickening. And currently, everybody's talking about restructuring. Restructuring. What do you understand, or how would you put the restructuring of Nigeria in place so that everybody, every state, all Nigerians are given the necessary, atmosphere under which to thrive? You know about Abraham Maslow, right? Nigerians are not asking for too much. We're only asking for what every other human being needs to thrive and survive. So restructuring. What do you think with the kind of money we generate?
So what Jerry is saying in another word is restructuring in the sense that average Nigerian gets their right, empowering them. How are you going to go about that?
Well, as I said, the Constitution of Nigeria is supreme above anybody's manifesto, any party's political promises. Until that Constitution is changed, thrown away, amended, is still the Constitution that will allow anybody elected to serve and be in office. So that's number one. Let's go into the Constitution. What did our Constitution actually outline? We'll take it. But one thing that is not available, and I want to believe that, is the actual statistic of data in Nigeria. You see, in the advanced political nation or democratic nations, you find that the opposition party have the same information as the party in government. Yeah? If you budget 1 billion, they know what you're going to do with that 1 billion. Fully. In our own climate, opposition parties they don't have that information. So whatever the government says is like, that is it. You don't have that information, you cannot verify it, and that's why we end up going back into the same cycle. Putting that aside, now in terms of the restructuring, as I said earlier, every locality, now every state must be allowed to produce what they have, agree the percentage. Some states, not every state, of course not every state has oil. Some states only have agricultural products, and there are states that have natural resources, be it the gold, the mines, product. What are they doing? So let's look at it. And we have followed some governors who have now started making public announcement of how bad they are in office and what allowed them to become bad in office. That is accountable as well. But every state must be allowed to refine their resources and agree a percentage that need to come back to the center. But always again remember, that you still have the Senate, you still have the members of the National Assembly, who really, if they are really there for the people that elect them, that got them elected, should be speaking on behalf of the so-called 50 million electorate, on behalf of the so-called 15 point something million that elect them, or the 12 point something million that allow them to be defeated. They were there to represent these people. So if there's a letdown, you have to go back as well to the NAS.
Right. Mr. Alishoyode, I want to ask a question which I think is very paramount in the minds of millions of Nigerians, because when we talk of act of lawlessness, that we don't even have values anymore. The bane, the source of all that problem can only come from one thing that is so endemic in the society, in all the fabrics of the society, which is corruption. Corruption is a serious matter, because if you look at the institution we'll be talking about, if they are not so free, if they are not at the level that they can operate so independently, that they will not be afraid of the president or the Senate president or the speaker of who and chairman of this and so on and so forth, or Oba of anywhere, if they don't want to be afraid of now, because the situation we have now is corruption is fighting back.
Absolutely.
Why is corruption fighting back? What will you do to fight? Because this business of fighting corruption is not it's not going to be an hour business. It's going to take. What are you going to do? Add to what anybody is doing now to fight corruption?
Don't give corruption an opportunity in your cycle. So, which means don't point a finger at Prof and said, "Oh, but he's with you. He just did something wrong." So don't. I would not associate myself with him. And the moment they bring you forward and say he just did something, you're out. Simple.
You have to prove it, though.
Yes, well, by proving it is saying bye bye. You're out of my company.
Proving it also is posing a lot of problems. Because we have a situation. Now listen,
smoke.
Yes. Yeah, well, again, he's been. I mean, I'm choosing my word now. We have situations where some of these people we're talking about have been caught red-handed, but still, because of the sort of weak institution we have, the rule of law is not working.
Yes. So that is the going back into the issue of saying you strengthen the institution, and the institution knows that Otumba was saying, honestly, whatever he told you, don't mess.
That's right. Don't mess up. Yes.
It's fine.
So he's going to build a team that you mess. You are shown as an example.
Yes.
Because he himself is leading by example.
Yes. That's it. Quickly, and again, because of time is never on our side. They are also very, very contagious area of our polity that is killing everybody. And for those who can think, not be rude to anybody, they find out many times that when it comes to sharing the commonwealth of the country,
friends,
people do not use religion, ethnicity, party line, or whatever.
Tribe.
Sir, when you become president of Nigeria, what are you going to do about all these 3 areas of where people use it to take advantage of citizens of Nigeria?
Over the last almost a year, I started the movement called Yes Nigeria Movement, basically to go and educate the electorate about their voting right. And of course, even before everybody started shouting about the PVC, I would go to the villages and talk to them in their local dialect to encourage them and say the people you elected are actually supposed to serve you, but somehow you have been marginalized. And don't sell your vote. Don't do that, because they have paid you. If I need water and you give me and I pay for it, I have already paid you. So stop chasing me because I paid. I can do whatever I like with this water because I paid for it. Yeah, and that's sometimes what normally happens. So with the Yes Nigeria movement, we're doing that, and of course then the emergence of the other movement. But there's something as well that I'm running on. I'm running on the yes factor. The yes factor. You know, when you've been failing and somehow you just succeeded. You have that yes or you're looking for the beautiful lady that you've been choosing to become your wife, and finally she say yes, or the
Yahoo.
Yes, right. So my yes basically is young and the youth in order. You take care of them. You look at the educational reform in the country, which is another E. Then you look at the economy. What do we need to do to make our economy prosperous? Then we look at energy, which we have already mentioned. Then you look at creating employment in the country, which is another E, job creations. We know what to do because we have been mentoring people to do their own. Then when people talk about agricultural health, I now combine them into something I call the enterprises, which is including the institution to strengthen them, which is another E. To strengthen the enterprise, agriculture, I study agriculture, so I know what it is that we can do with that. I know how to strengthen and how to encourage. What is good in Nigeria, we lift higher. What is bad, we press down and destroy completely. Right? And then, of course, there's another E, which means our elders, because our elders don't want to go away because they're not assured, they don't have pension. Why will I go away when I don't have anything? So we make sure that our elders are fully taking care of what belongs to them in their pension. They must be paid duly because the money from the pension is already with the bank.
They're not actually taking it from
So
them.
we will pay
money.
them on the spot. If we're using electronic system, it will go. It will be delivered. So the elders are taken care of. But apart from all these things, I'm now saying, back to your question, we have another E. The last E of those E's is the expert. They must be expert in their industry. Just because you're young and you can't do the job, we won't get it. Just because you're elder, you can't do the job, you won't get it. So you must have expertise in your industry. You must have experience in your industry of what we are looking for to deliver. That is the E. But when you have good economy, good education, the young are in, the elders are taken care of, your agriculture is flourishing, your energy is working, and you don't have security, you can't enjoy it. And that's why the last S comes into my yes factor.
Wonderful.
That you need security in order for you to enjoy the wealth, in order for you to enjoy the jobs you're creating, in order for you to enjoy the energy. Yes, you have electricity, but you have to have the security. So we will deal with that.
Security must be in place.
Must be very, very important. And
Jerry,
that's what the reforms come in.
Jerry, quickly, and then one more for you before we run
I'm
out.
going to load my question.
Time.
Yes. Is the party you, or are you the party? Because we've seen situations where that particular person goes and the party dies, right? How is your party funded? Who do you have any godfather who is pumping money into your party? Because that will determine how much you can bite when you get there. And then political thuggery.
First and foremost, I don't have talks and I don't carry talks, and in fact, for those who know me, it's more like a one-man band, one-man squad, and almost everything I do, even though I'm in television.
So you are the party?
So I am not the party, I'm the person first.
Okay.
You're not a party.
Okay.
So the parties right now, as you know, a lot of people who have declared, really, they're just still looking at the party. So we have our yes, which might end up becoming a party before the time, but we have other parties that we're talking to that have been talking to us as well.
Okay.
As many as 3 parties, and surely enough, we will collapse. And you know, some other movement already have collapsed into a political party. So the big picture is people are looking for a bridge between the North and the South. I am from the North. I'm from the South, and that's why they call me AS the Bridge. So my parents are from the North and the South. Right now in the Nigerian system, the vice president comes from the Southwest, the president comes from the North. There are 2 locations I happen to imbibe in me. The north of, I was born in Katsina, so which means the president from Katsina.
Nigeria is going to buy one and get one free.
You get, yes. Yeah, in terms of education, I'm averagely qualified academically. So I'm a bridge between those who have triple professors and those who just have 8 up. In terms of height, I'm not between the 2 of you. I think I'm between the 2 of you in terms of height. Okay. So when you look across board, and women empowerment, youth empowerment is something that I've been doing for the last 10 years, if not longer. Empowering the youth, that the future of our country, the future of our community belongs to the youth. And then women, we must make sure that they are in the government according to the Constitution. And if they are qualified, they have the expert and experience, they will be pulled into the government so that we can strengthen everybody. There should not be anybody that should be a sacrificial lamb in our government. What I see is a person who is ready to bridge the divide in our country, and that's why AS, the bridge, is the answer.
You know, you've got to be very, very quick.
I'll try my best now.
Yeah,
Let's
please,
go.
because of time.
Sure.
We need to run up.
The thing is, I'm looking at the brainwashing, and I need to see how my president is going to deal with this brainwashing. Nigeria is still under 200 people. It's a country far, far below China. So let nobody abuse your mind to say there are too many people there. No, there aren't. What is lacking is the activation of the ingenuity and the creativity in each of them. Then you see how big the place is. because people are redundant because of suppression and oppression. Their talents are all emerged and all suppressed. So it looks as if we have too many people living in small place. So we want to empower you to recognize this, that we don't have too many people in Nigeria. We're still far, far, far low, and we need to now create an opportunity, enabling environment where each will be harnessed and maximized in terms of their talents. So if you can do that for us, I'm for you.
And quickly, just to supplement what he's saying, because the truth of the matter also is, for too long a time, we never had a genuine, a correct statistics of Nigerians.
Absolutely.
If push comes to shove, to follow up his question, are you ready to do
Census, proper
an
census.
open, transparent, credible census?
Without
Because
any doubt.
without it, you will not be able to operate, because you need the statistics. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Without any doubt, because
Yeah.
likewise, personally for me, I have been wondering that, are we really 185? Then the following day somebody say 190. So even people in government, they just keep giving different figures from
We're
180
too lazy
and
to
one
do the
bank
work.
said
We have to
190.
do the work.
We will, without any doubt, make sure that we take record of every single Nigerian. And anybody that is not Nigerian.
Credible
especially because
census, counting,
it has to be
statistics.
credible. It has to be credible. And that's why I'm saying, in today's world, we're moving from just ordinary creativity to innovation to technology and artificial intelligence. Right? Nigeria shouldn't be in analog when the world is in artificial intelligence. So we will, without any doubt, unleash the talent of Nigerians who more or less control the Western world. In the major cities of the world, Nigerians are there creating those apps, creating those data, giving
Building the
analysis.
railway in Iraq and
Absolutely.
building the
So
best car in
when
America.
they have
Yeah.
But as individuals, they're not working collectively. That's the
Yes.
problem. We
when they
need to do
have
something.
the interactivity of a leader, I believe they will now say, right, this guy, he has been with us. He is actually, I am the bridge between Nigeria and Africa as a continent. I am the bridge between Nigeria and the international community. So there won't be any global leader that will sit in front of me that will put a bargain bill in front.
Yes.
No, I will speak to them face to face, one to one. Nigeria to your country. What do you have for Nigeria?
And look at the camera, you're going to do a proper census, because you will need the
By
figures
God's grace,
to plan.
absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Final, because of time, like I said, we need to round up. We appreciate your coming,
Thank you.
despite your tight schedules and so on and so forth. Push come to shove again, because as you see, we have a large number of, I don't want to use the word mushroom, because everybody is entitled to run. We now have a situation where there are two major non-political parties on the ground that are already structured. You know what I mean by structured? Whether it's a weak or bad, but they are already structured. Now, if we find ourselves in a situation with not too young or not too old to run, youth who want to take mantle of power, and you are one among the other who say, in order to form a formidable front, we need to join hands, because with hands together we can move the mountain. And in the process, and you did not emerge as the front runner or the leader of that front, what will you do? Will you still fight for the cause of Nigerians? Will you still be part of that movement?
Definitely, that has been the calling. I will continue to fight for the cause of Nigeria. With due respect to the other candidate, I honestly, sincerely, with due respect, I think I'm the bridge. So, if you need more information, www.askthebridge.com. But let me make an appeal as well.
Yes.
Today being June 12 in Nigeria, a very, very historic day in our country. Globally as well, today happened to be a very, very important historic day because of the nuclear discussion between Donald Trump and Kim. The both of them seems to be going into a letter I call P for peace. Right? The global community wants to see peace. And in Nigeria, because of today's investiture and the activities taking place is towards having a better peace in the country. So I'm appealing to every political party, every aspirant to today say, I pledge peace. Because when we look at what the former INEC president, chairman say, that Nigeria must be careful so that we don't have crisis. And some international observers say must be careful so that we don't have crisis. So I, Ali Shoyode, as the bridge, I said I pledge peace.
Fantastic.
Right.
I want to thank you very much because I want also to round up. You hear me do that because I want to say, well, today, June 12, is a milestone in the history of Nigeria, and we keep making history. For us here on the panel of Nigeria Decides 2019, and having you as our guest is a thing of pleasure for us. We had couple, we're still going to have more to go because we are really ready to speak to others. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you.
Well done.
Thank you.
On behalf of my international
Thank you very much.
Jerry, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much.
So viewers, it's been another edition of Nigeria Decides 2019, where we promise you we'll be bringing aspirants at different level. The one we have been having so far, the presidential candidates, the governors are yet to emerge, the senatorial, the House of Rep, they are still on the list of people who want to come on this program. All you need to do is to watch out. We will inform you. We will let you know when that is going to happen. So it's been my pleasure. My name is Otumba Hashim Olabode Osene. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
LOC.
God bless you.
LOC.
God bless you.
LOC.
God bless you.
And my people out there, our mother in Christ, Reverend Mother Dr. Esther Abimbola Ajayi, is asking us to come and celebrate the Comforter. Where? United States of America, 4041 Broadway, on Saturday, the 28th of July, 2018. Don't forget, 4041 Broadway, New York, United States of America. Come, let's celebrate the Comforter.
Heritage Television. Promoting African culture and heritage at its best. From talk shows that concern you to both local and international news that relates to you. From grassroots football to African children's programs. Heritage Television. We cover your social and special events like weddings, birthdays, church anniversaries, and so on, and broadcast them live on our apps and online. Heritage Television, broadcasting everything about culture and heritage. Heritage Television. We've got it covered. Do download our apps on both Android, iOS, and Windows mobile platform. Heritage Television, your very own TV station.
Oh, hello. Are you over 50? Come then. Let's narrate your story on the Ultimate 50 Plus Club. You see, this program is specifically directed at you all over 50 plus. Where were you born? What's your childhood like? What school did you attend? What have you done? Where have you been? Where are you going? What's your story? Your hopes and aspirations. See, we on Heritage TV would like to rub minds with you regardless of your status, education, or position in the society. The door is open. Come walk down memory lane with us. Step in. We're looking forward to seeing you.